Hi, everyone, and welcome to a Teamdash webinar. I am Carina, the Community Manager, and today we are talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion in recruitment. But before we get into that topic, and I introduce you our expert speaker, a lot of you here are here for the first time, so let me first briefly introduce Teamdash. So Teamdash is an easy-to-use platform for applicant tracking, recruitment marketing, and video interviewing. So as a recruiter, you can do everything in one place, starting from creating and publishing a job ad to making an offer to the winning candidate. It's also the most customizable recruitment software on the market, which means that every project can be designed according to your needs with custom stages, custom automations, and accesses, you name it. And as most of you are in the middle of choosing an ATS for your team, I recommend booking a product tour with us to learn more. So the link to that is in the chat. Also, for the ones who are just joining, feel free to say hi there as well. Okay, so now let's get into today's topic. So today we are talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI in short, in the context of workplace and hiring. What it is, why it's important, how it benefits both the employee well-being and business outcomes. And our guest speaker, Annika, will share more about how her team is approaching DEI in DPD. So DEI has been around for a while, but is now recognized as a strategic part of people management. So what do those three concepts actually mean? So let's take a look at them. So when we talk about diversity, it's the representation of individuals with different backgrounds, cultures, and characteristics, just a lot of different people in one place in this context of workplace. When we talk about equity, we mean the fair treatment and equal opportunities for all people despite their background, culture, and characteristics. So here the focus is on equal opportunities. So some people might need more support than others in order to have the same opportunities. So that's what equity means. And when we talk about inclusion, this is all about how people feel at work and how much the companies support and encourage them to be themselves and feel good so that they could do their best work. And there's a really cool party metaphor that illustrates the meaning behind those concepts as well. So diversity is where everyone is invited to the party. So all different kinds of people are in the same room. Equity means that everyone gets to contribute to the music so that, everybody can add a song to the wish list, despite whether you know the DJ or not. And inclusion means that everyone has the opportunity to dance. So that means that they feel comfortable enough to be themselves, go out there on the dance floor and show off their best moves. So this is maybe a little metaphor that helps you understand those three concepts a bit better. And in addition to making your workplace welcoming to everyone, there are a lot of benefits to having a diverse and happy workplace as well. So these companies who have a diverse workforce are more likely to experience a greater financial returns. The problem solving is more efficient. There's more creativity because we've got more people with different perspectives who can bring more new ideas to the table and reach solutions faster. Also, the talent pool will be larger because we're not excluding candidates based on certain characteristics or cultures or backgrounds. So therefore, logically, we have more candidates to choose from. And also, if our people feel comfortable at work and they can be themselves and do their best work, then they will also perform higher or have a higher performance, perform better, and therefore contribute to the greater financial returns of the company as well. And as DEI is something that candidates are really looking for before applying to a company, they want to know whether a company takes DEI seriously, has a directive in place, or has some strategies. If you are successfully communicating that in your employer branding, then your company also tends to have a better reputation. So how do we create a diverse workforce? So this is through hiring, which we're going to talk about today. And diversity in hiring, this is the conscious effort by organizations to seek, attract, and hire people with those different various backgrounds, experiences, and perspectives. However, this is not easy to do. It seems like, yeah, we know, we understand the concepts, but actually doing that, we ourselves as humans come on our way because we are prone to stereotyping and to form opinions about people based on first impressions or irrelevant criteria. So this is a phenomenon that's called unconscious bias, and that's something I'd like to focus on for a second as well. So there are a lot of different things that we are stereotyping people on. So I have brought together some common types of unconscious bias. There are obviously more, but these are some that maybe you've already heard of as well. So there's affinity bias, which means that we tend to prefer people who are similar to us. For example, we tend to prefer a candidate who might went to the same university as we did. Then the appearance bias, which is stereotypes based on appearance, such as taller people have more authority. Confirmation bias, this is when we look for new information that confirms our existing beliefs. Attribution bias is when we're looking for correlations that are unrelated. So for example, a coworker is late to work, so we assume that they're lazy, but it's actually the public transport that's not reliable in the city. Then gender bias, so assumptions based on gender. We assume that women are better at doing certain things and men are better at doing certain things, which is not always true. And then age bias, assumptions based on age, so that, for example, everyone over 50 doesn't know how to use TikTok. Authority bias, so this is the tendency to place more weight on the opinion or idea of an authority figure, so we assume that they know better. Then the halo effect, then the tendency to use an overall positive impression of a person to influence other judgments of their character. So again, we might prefer, if a candidate, we see that they went to a very prestigious university, we think that they're probably better, and then we don't really look at other information that might refer that they might not have the best skills or experience. And then the horns effect is the opposite of that, where we let a negative side overpower all the positive things in a person. So there's a lot, there's much more. So this is something that we need to tackle when we're hiring, and if we want to achieve the DI goals and put the strategy in action. But the more aware we are of those biases, the more objective decisions we're able to make. So, and with us today is Annika, who is the HR and Sustainability Manager from TPD Estonia, and she will also tell us about her experience on how they're tackling these challenges in DPD and in order to create a more diverse and inclusive workplace. So I will invite Annika to the stage. Just a second. Also, feel free to go to the polls tab as well. We're publishing some polls there. You can answer those in the meanwhile. And if you have questions throughout the webinar, please feel free to drop those into the questions tab as well, so we get to answer those in time. Okay.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hi, hello, hello.
Cool, yeah, we can hear each other, see each other. This is great. Awesome. How are you?
I'm good, actually.
Great.
Despite the weather.
Yeah, despite the weather. Yeah, it's in Estonia. It's kind of pretty gray right now.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm so happy you could come. Welcome. So maybe we could start off. You can just introduce yourself a bit and DPD as well. You've got some slides. I will share them with everyone just now. And
okay.
The stage is yours.
I'll start with myself. So, like, you know, my name is Annika, and I have been working in DPD for 15 years now. It will be 16 in April. So, and in HR, I think I worked over 20 years. So if you say the numbers out loud, I don't want to feel the age, but there they are. And what I have really liked in DPD is that I haven't been doing the same things for all these 15 years, although basically my position name has stayed the same, HR manager. But what I like in DPD is that I have been able to add very different topics and areas to my expertise. So I have also been responsible, for example, for claims, for quality management system, uphold. Now I have also sustainability, compliance, GDPR in my portfolio. So this constant learning and diversity also in your tasks is what I really appreciate in my current company. And if we talk about DPD, then who doesn't know, we're a parcel delivery courier company, and we are a global company. So our mother company is Geopost, who is located in Paris. So our headquarters in France. And as Estonia, we are one of the smallest business units. We have 200 employees, and in addition, 350 couriers who are not our employees. They are subcontracted. That's why they are separately here. And we operate all over Estonia, and a lot of our, for example, parcels that we have 7 million of per year are delivered to lockers. So that will be a point maybe later when we talk about diversity. And also from the sustainability part, today, all of our parcels are carbon neutral, which makes us the most green delivery company in Estonia.
Yay!
And we have been working in Estonia we just had our birthday. So it's, let me count, 7 years.
Awesome.
So yeah, quite for a long time on the market.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is maybe very shortly it about who we are. So from those 200 employees, I would say about half are office employees and the other half are our depot parcel sorters. So we have two maybe largest groups of employees whom we have to, for different reasons, approach differently. We also recruit them differently. So from one point, the blue collar workers, and from the other side, the office workers.
Mm-hmm. And when it comes to diversity, we can dive right into that topic. Are there any specific challenges related to your industry as well, when in general?
Well, usually the logistics industry as such is very male dominated. So when we look at our own numbers, those 200 employees, it's very equal. We have like half and half. But when we look at the couriers, we have like 30 women in those 350. So it's pretty difficult to find women to work, for example, as couriers from one hand, and on the other hand, also our very equal gender split in DPD part is also driven by that in the call center, we have all women. In finance, we have all women. In the sorting center, in IT, we have all men. So it's not really so diverse and nice when you dive into the different departments, but the overall picture is pretty nice.
Mm-hmm. So it's the gender diversity that seems to.
Yeah, and also maybe this, like you said, the bias towards certain groups. So, for example, for a long time, we had in our subcontractors the mindset that we won't hire anybody over 40 because they don't manage, they are not so fast, etc., etc., etc. So we have been really raising the awareness that age doesn't matter. Not all couriers have to be like 25, 30 years old male people. So, and actually today we have a lot of very good, highly recognized couriers who are ladies over 50. So we are changing this mindset step by step. We have been hiring people from different cultures and different countries to our sorting center, which also, let's say, maybe 5-6 years ago was a big no. We are only hiring people from Estonia. We are not looking for any students or anybody who doesn't speak Estonian or at least Russian. So, and this also changed, I think, in 2016, 17. So for us, that also meant that we had to do a lot of changes internally, because hiring people from, let's say, Portugal, Greece, India, Nigeria meant that we had to have everything, internal communication, documents, trainings, also in English. But that is what it is. So at one point, we were, from one hand, pressured that we couldn't find people. The recruitment was very difficult. There wasn't just enough candidates. And from the other side, that there were people interested, but we sort of always put them aside. So, and to, again, open our minds more and to look that everybody doesn't have to be exactly the same as us, like you said.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have been making, I think, these changes slowly but determinedly from 2000, let's say 15, 16. And also maybe one point from the diversity side was, again, hiring people for part-time positions, because previously it was always very full-time job. We need an FTE here, we need an FTE there, and it was like a equality mark, so it has to be the one person. But today we have a lot of options, even in couriers, which is also a latest development, that they can do part-time jobs, deliver in the evening to those parcel lockers that we now have almost 300 of. So you don't have to work 8 hours only during the day. You can be a student and then come and help us in the evening. So win-win.
Yeah, this is great. That's what I wanted to ask as well, because you've been there for quite a while. How have you seen the approach towards DEI and those topics become more of an everyday thing to talk about and educate people? So how has that shift been, and have the challenges kind of changed throughout the years, or it's just that now we're focusing on that more?
I think we have changed most in the attitude of our, again, shift managers, subcontractors, people who are working more with maybe blue collar employees in the sorting centers or couriers, who have always approached this area in a very rigid one lane sort of way, and now I see that even they are opening up and they are talking about diversity more. We have been buying, for example, smaller vans, electric vans, so they are more, let's say, women friendly, because some ladies are afraid to drive these big trucks, and that also has helped. And now people are also paying attention, the hiring managers, what kind of candidates do we have in the pool? How many are we interviewing? How many are in the final stages? So today, people even don't pay so much attention to, for example, where are you situated if we are hiring for positions that don't require that you are here in Estonia. So now we are also accepting more, state of residencies, Iceland or Norway. Can we make it happen? So they are kind of open to exploring options. We don't always use those options, because sometimes you can't live in Norway if you do some things, but we are at least open to the idea.
Okay, yeah, so it's the expansion kind of towards that, or the mindfulness about that topic has become a bit better over the years. Now, if we could just focus on the hiring that you already mentioned briefly as well. So do you have, because you belong in a bigger group, right? DVD Estonia belongs to group. So is there any directive in place or any strategy on the group level or any expectations or certain goals set that you are required to follow?
So on the screen, you can see some of our DEI numbers. So we are a pretty decentralized group. So that means that for a very long time, when I have been working here, we haven't had any policy or even guidelines from the group. So of course, as a sustainable company and as a company who has signed UN Global Compact in 2016. So we do have some expectations from the group that we follow, but I think that starting only from this year, we have had this group working like community of all of the HR directors who are also focusing on different topics and KPIs and initiatives that we can do together as a group in the DEI. We have also had the first Diversity and Inclusion Week as a group this year. So I think we will set more common goals and targets, because so far it has maybe been not so formalized, not so written down. So everybody has been doing it from their own instincts and this common sense. But I think we will move towards especially this best practice sharing as a group, because we have very different business units. We have small countries like Estonia. We have very big countries like France, Portugal, Brazil, for example, South Africa. So we can learn from each other. And some companies are more advanced in the DEI topics than others are. And so we can just learn from each other. And I think that this is one of the best thing of being a part of a big group. You don't have to invent the bicycle. So we can, even if the group does not coordinate everything, we can still be in contact with a different business unit and ask, hey, I saw you do this. Can you share? This is very interesting, and move on from there.
Yeah, this is great. Do you have any regular meetings in place, or how do you kind of educate the team and the hiring managers and new people when they onboard as well? Is there anything that you have?
So as a group, we have the HR director meeting once per month. So we are in very tight contact, and we have a shared space in our group intranet where we can all upload all of our different materials. So I don't have to wait for this like meeting to have some communication or materials available to me. And as regarding our hiring managers, then we have this extended management meeting once a quarter, and we use that meeting for a lot of trainings and discussions and best practice sharings as well. So we haven't approached specifically this diversity topic in hiring before, but we have approached hiring as such and employer branding and what kind of an employer we want to be. And our recruitment and onboarding is a very big part of our employer of choice strategy. So we will continue to build on that. And especially next year, I think the diversity, equity, and inclusion will be a part of that. So we already have a training scheduled for January for these hiring biases that you mentioned before.
Absolutely. And it seems, yeah, that at least within your team, DEI is a natural part of hiring, and you need to keep that in mind at all times.
Yeah. I don't think it's a problem or issue in HR that I would have to remind my recruiters to do it. We do have a recruitment policy, which also mentions these topics and the importance of being a diverse workplace. But I think we need to educate and train more our hiring managers so they don't forget and they pay attention to where and what their biases are, because all of us have different biases. And today we see that some of them use them more than the others. So we will address that next year in more detail.
So that's something that's in the works.
Definitely. I think it's a never-ending work. It's never done.
Absolutely.
You can never say that. We're here now. Great, check.
Yes, and I feel like when it comes to DEI, we're just getting started. So we're not even halfway yet. So
yeah, exactly.
There's a long way to go. But it's great that we're doing this. So you mentioned the diversity week that you had within the company. So what other initiatives you have just to introduce the DEI topic to people across DPD?
So as for DPD Estonia, we have signed the local diversity charter in 2014. So we have done the diversity month in May for quite some years now. And now our group DEI week is usually in June or July. So we kind of stretch it out in Estonia to include both. I don't want to ignore either of them. So like I mentioned, from very technical points of view, introducing smaller and more comfortable cars to attract female couriers, using very different people in your job ads, not only like men for IT, young people here, and etc. So just to show that we are open to all kinds of candidates and we are welcoming all applicants. We also have introduced a mental health guideline, which was done in cooperation with our employees. So we had different workshops where we were all participating, because not all disabilities or problems are visible. So in order to understand between ourselves more and how we can help and support people with disabilities, and also paying attention to very different family setups, because nowadays, family can be a very lot of different things for different people and in different periods of time. So when I'm young, my family is my friends, for example, or my dog or my cat. Then I have kids. Then maybe the kids move out, but my parents get sick and old and I need to take care of them, or whatever it may happen. So just to address this as we grow with our employees, because like I said, everything is never ready. So if you have a balance and you approach people very individually. So this is also in that mental health guideline. So, and also, again, all of these different part-time and flexible solutions for individuals with a very individual approach, because although it's easy to say like, select all, we have this in our company, so please just be this, it doesn't work. So
yeah. Absolutely. And going back to the diversity week for a second, what are the activities that you do there? Is there anything specific, or it's more just
I think since
Sharing
our people are all over Estonia, so we can't do a lot of things that have to happen together in the office because half of our sorting center works at night, so they are also not there. So we have maybe more shared our stories, talking, presenting our different employees, doing this person interviews, and sharing maybe some numbers and what. Where are we from, for example? What are the different Christmas traditions or holiday traditions in all different countries that we have here? So what else have we done? We have been also cooking some different cuisines from different countries. And again, maybe more educating and maybe bringing to everyone's attention what is diversity. Because usually if I ask somebody here, then it's like men and women. Fair wage, and that's it. But the range is so much wider. So we maybe just also during those DEI weeks talk about all of the different areas and initiatives that can be considered as diversity. So maybe people even don't know that DPD is already doing quite a lot in that area, but they don't know that this is it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is really great that you let people tell their stories, because I feel like through that we can really connect much better and kind of see other people's point of view and understand them as well. And that increases the feeling of inclusion as well.
And also I think that one more initiative I love to mention always is that we do internal work shadowing, which is also, and then we promote it in our internal communication channel. And I think this is always gets the most likes as an article, because people, if your colleague goes to look at what you do and then they describe it to others in their own words, and then they actually understand you so much better. So why do we do this in this department like we do? I've never thought that this is the things you struggle with, or these are the questions that you face. And if I do this, then what does it mean for you? So I think this is a very good initiative that doesn't require absolutely any money. So anybody can do it in their companies. So just as managers, select some teams that maybe don't work as well together as you would like and send them to visit.
Yeah, absolutely. Because then exactly, you will understand what their work is like. And then whenever there's some sort of an issue, you might understand them a bit better as well, knowing where they're coming from and what it actually is like working on this position. Absolutely. So meanwhile, we've got a few questions as well. There's one from Damla. So are you also reporting back to the business the impact of diversity since you started the DEI initiatives? If yes, what are the top things you can tell us? Which areas do you see some improvements thanks to diversity?
Yeah, we have started the group reporting from, like I said, this year. So we have only done it twice. So I don't have any like big insights yet. But what I see is that what we haven't measured or looked at is the amount of people we hire straight out of schools. So we do a lot of providing this internship positions for people who need to do their internships in schools. Very often we hire them after they have done it here. And a lot of our people have grown in the company that started as an intern. For example, even managers. So today our transport manager and our Tartu Depot managers started as interns at one point. But otherwise, we report age hiring and letting go, trainings, women in managerial positions, also the wage gap. So, and how many women get promoted. So these are, off the top of my head, the main things that we report, but we haven't set any targets yet. So I don't have a target that we should have X percentage of women in these and these positions. Today, I think we are pretty good. We are sort of 40% women in our management team. But if I look at our senior management team, then I'm the only one there. There are 4 of us. So should I push for half, or am I fine on 25? So not clear yet.
I guess over the time, since you started reporting over time, you will have more data to base the
definitely
targets on as well. So that makes sense. So we also have a question in the polls, and do you have a DEI reporting in your company? So over half of them have said no, and 25% yes, and 13% is working on it. So this is something that not everyone's doing yet, but hopefully in the future this is becoming more popular. Maybe from your opinion, are there any initiatives in your experience that have made the biggest impact? Is there any highlight that you'd like to bring out? Or you mentioned the female couriers that you purchased the smaller vans. Did you already plan to purchase the smaller vans, or that was because with the goal of having more women as couriers? Maybe you can tell more about that one.
I think it was really with the goal of getting more women, because it's an issue overall in Europe that it's very difficult to hire and find people to work in the sorting centers as couriers. So we needed to really expand our candidate pool. And this is also one question that is in the questions that the diversity hiring, has it make a difference? Yes, it has, because we also opened our minds to hiring women in the sorting centers, because the parcels are pretty heavy. The maximum weight of one parcel is 31.5 kilos, and it's not very common for even men to be able to lift those, especially if your shift is long and you have to lift more than one of them during that time. So I think that approaching the part-time options, all age groups. So today we don't do interviews in the depots anymore as hiring. So we schedule already these test days. So you have to work for one full shift, and this is your job interview. We, of course, pay you for all those hours, and it's not like anything for free. But people say during the interview that, no worries, I have worked on construction. It's no problem for me to do hard physical work and labor. And when they actually arrive here and they see how much they have to bend, lift, and what is the speed of it, so very often they say that, no, this is not for me. So in order to save anybody's time, ours and theirs, so we just tell them that this is it and try it out. And if you like it, then let's go further. And we include women there. We include older people there, because some women can lift more than 3 men. So if you want to come and try, you can try. So this is it. So I think we have really filled our positions, especially during peak times, more faster, and people who have gotten the opportunity that they thought they maybe wouldn't get, because usually you hire young guys, so they are more stable as well, so they don't leave as fast, and the turnover goes down.
Yeah, this is really great to make it more practical, the hiring part there as well. Just to come and check it out. This is your interview, because we really need to know whether you're able to lift those packages or not. So
and as a courier company, in the winter you have all of the doors open because vans drive into those doors. It's cold. The parcels are quite dusty. So if you have any issue with dust or allergies, then you never know unless you try. And we welcome to try everybody. So,
yeah, this is great. Meanwhile, we also got one question. So this is, how do you measure the impact of more diverse talent in the business, and how is this being regulated? Is there any impact that you measure if the more diverse the company is, the better certain results, or is there anything that you...
I don't really measure it as such, but again, the more people and applicants you include and you open yourself up to them and the possibilities of talking to them, making the first contact, removing the bias. So you just have a wider candidate pool, you have more options, and during those context, you can discover actually a lot of surprising things. So you may not hire the person for that role, but you can see that they're perfect for some other role. So, but I don't have a way to measure it.
No, absolutely. And Victoria also had a question, but I guess that was answered already. She asked if what specific changes have you made, and are they commitments you've made across the business? So this is already something that you talked about. So hopefully, Victoria, you got your answer as well. So we are coming to an end of our little chat. We asked people as well, the viewers, how would you rate diversity in your workplace? So they could rate it on the scale from 1 to 5, and most people rated to 4, so 59%, which is good. So how would you rate the diversity in DPD Estonia?
Well, as in Estonia, you always leave the 1 point because you can always do better. So I think we're quite good. I think we maybe need to, again, set more targets and to really understand and to approach it equally in all departments and everywhere, because right now it's more maybe of a gut understanding and this overall feeling, but we can definitely do better in that. And also Chloe asked, I see that how would a smaller company with less resources begin their journey to be more diverse? So I think that at the beginning, it doesn't really require a lot of resources. You just really have to be open to listen to your people and to also understand if they approach you and ask you for some kind of a special maybe solution. So the easiest thing is always to say no, maybe. But as a smaller company, you have a lot of wiggle room to play around. So maybe to shift some tasks between people or change something. And of course, in hiring and recruitment, you just be open to all of the different candidates, because a lot of the time smaller companies say that we are so niche, or we only need to hire from this school or that university, or they have to have so much experience here or there. We don't have time to train them. We don't have anyone to show them the ropes. So if one person leaves, we have a big gap. So we need to fill it immediately with a person who knows what to do. But sometimes this very ambitious and driven and hungry young person, they will learn it so fast. So if you just give them the opportunity, they will really do it. They will do overtime without wanting to be especially compensated for it. And they really want to push and get results. So I think that would be my suggestion for that.
Yeah, so it's all about, you can start with yourself being more open-minded and ready to listen and just educate yourself, and
exactly,
and yes, and then from there you can build on that. So
yeah,
this is great. Thank you for a very insightful
Thank you for inviting me.
Conversation. Absolutely. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think I mentioned everything. Awesome. I talk so much.
Well, great. Thank you. And have a great rest of your day. I will send you off the stage now. Bye. Okay, so our first half is over. Do not leave yet, because the interesting part is just to follow as well the next interesting part, because I hope that Annika's presentation was also exciting. So just a second, I will share my screen again. So there are also a few technological tools that can help reduce bias in the hiring process and guarantee a more diverse candidate pool. So we have some of those tools on Teamdash as well, which I'm going to show you on the platform in a second. So there are 3 that I'm going to show you. So the first is inclusive language check, to make sure that the text, the copy, and the words that we're using on the job ads are inclusive. Then the AI generated candidate summaries, which are standardized summaries to reduce bias without, so that we can go through and screen candidates and CVs without knowing their gender, their name, etc. And then also scorecards to rate people's candidate skills. So I will go into Teamdash now, just a second again, flipping some screens and places. Bear with me. Okay. And we're back. Okay, so we're in Teamdash now, and once we start hiring, we need to first create the landing page job ad. So we are in the landing page job ad creator tool. Here you can see different sections of the job ad, but I would like to focus just on one section for now. So here we want to make sure that the job ad speaks to all people and the words that we use are inclusive and don't discriminate against anyone. So we have a tool that helps us make sure that we achieve that goal. So here within the section on the left, in the left corner up here, you can see all different buttons, and there's a little smiley face here, which is the inclusive language check tool. So this is an AI powered tool which will analyze the copy that you've written, and it will give a description and analysis of how that copy sounds and whether it is inclusive or not. So as you can see here, the user's content demonstrates a clear commitment to DEI principles. The language is neutral, inclusive, and free of any discriminatory language. So here, this is a little good check you can do with each sections to make sure that the language in the job ad is inclusive. So now that it is that, then we hope to get a more diverse candidate pool as well. So let's say we have published that job ad. Now we go to our project. And here, I'd like to focus on the submission stage. So this is the project view with all of the different stages. This is one of our demo projects. We're hiring a talent whisperer who is technically a psychic recruiter. And in the submission stage here, now that we have an inclusive job ad with copy that's inclusive, we hope to get a diverse talent pool here. However, we want to make the most informed decisions and evaluate those candidates based on their skills and experience, not their background and characteristics and culture. So this is where AI generated candidate summaries come in handy. And because the AI is not a person, so it doesn't have unconscious bias. So it's a good tool to use to screen to screen the candidates in the first stage. So as you can see here, when the candidates come in, these are the candidate cards. So each candidate is numbered, and here you can see just the summary of their profile or of their CV within one sentence. And if you hover over more information, then you see bullet points of so the conclusion of their experience. And this will give you an idea whether this candidate is suitable or not. And as you can see, all of those summaries have the same standard format as well. So you get bullet points, and then at the end, you have an evaluation whether this candidate is good for the position. So in order to for the AI to do that correctly, I missed one step, so we go one step back. In order to make sure that AI does that correctly, we need to make sure that we have added the role description in the project settings. So once we start creating a project, or if we have created it, we click edit, and then make sure that in the description, we have brought out all the necessary requirements for that role. So this is the information that the AI bases its analysis on. And the result will be these summaries here. So based on that, it's easier for you to go, you will go through all of the CVs faster, because as we know, people don't always know how to put together a good CV. Some of them are very long, take a long time to get the necessary information out of that. But this tool will summarize all of them in one format, so it's faster for you to, it's easier and faster for you to go through all of them as well. So let's say that now we have chosen a few candidates who are suitable for the role, and we would like to invite them for an interview. So in this case, we drop them to an asynchronous video interview stage. It can be just an interview stage. It doesn't really matter. The project's very customizable, so you can choose all the stages yourself as well. But just in this case, it's the asynchronous video interview. So let's choose a few candidates here. Steve and Kaylee, these are our Teamdash team members. And just for the demo's sake. And here, once we do the interview, after the interview, we would like to evaluate their skills. So we use a scorecard tool for that. So this is a great tool to use if you have a lot of similar candidates. So and you have to evaluate certain skills. So the scorecards will help you put the feelings and thoughts into numbers. So on the scorecards, you can evaluate skills on the scale from 1 to 5. So I will show you how that tool works as well. So in order to have it in the project, we need to first create the scorecards. So we go to the scorecard creator tool. And we have some scorecards here, but let's say if you don't have any, you click add scorecard, but I will just edit the existing scorecards for now. So here you can see you will type in the name of those scorecards. Usually it's good to add the position name so it matches with the project name. And then you can start adding questions, aka the skills you'd like to evaluate. So here are a few examples. So communication skills, we want to know their English skill, how good is that? Their experience with HR and recruitment software and tools, and also telepathy because they're a talent whisperer. So here you can add as many questions, as many skills as you like. You can also change the order of those skills. So again, very customizable, and you can delete them, add them as you wish. Then you click save, and we go back to the project. Now we need to make sure that the project and the scorecards are connected. So this is also something that you can do in the settings, but in here we have already done that. So I will show you now what the scorecard looks like as well. So this is the candidate card, and here you have a lot of different tabs, but we click on the scorecard tab, and here you can see all the skills that I have added. And we can't see the average because no one has rated their skills, his skills before. So I can click add my score and then evaluate all of those skills from 1 to 5. And also you can add a comment. They're a great candidate. And then you click save, and you see your score, and you will also see the average. And if you hover over the name here, you will see the comment that I made as well. So the next person, for example, a hiring manager who also needs to add their score, can come in here, do exactly the same thing, and they will not see the average nor the other people's scores before they have added their own. This is a setting that can be toggled in and out, on and off as well. But in order to reduce bias, it is good to keep all the other scores hidden until the person has given their ratings. And once you have added those scores, Kaylee also has some, you can see that there's a preview on the candidate card of that score as well. And then when you hover over it, you will see each skill as well. And then another thing that you can do is that you can set an order, so the sort candidates by the scorecard score. So for example, you have a lot of candidates and they're very similar. It's difficult to see which ones are more suitable for the role than others. Then this is something that helps you put them in a ranking order as well, and helps you to make the decisions a little bit faster and a little easier. So this is it. So we talked about the DI inclusive language check, which checks whether the words that you use in your job ad are inclusive. Then the AI tool in the submissions stage here that gives you the candidate summary. So you can only focus on their skills and experience, whether they're suitable for the role and nothing else. So again, reduces bias. And then the scorecards where you can also rate the skills and put kind of your gut feeling into numbers so that it's easier to see which candidate is more suitable. And now I will flip back to the slides and see if you have any questions or anything in the meanwhile. Nope, seems good. Okay, just a second. Yes, so there are a lot of benefits to these tools that I already mentioned as well. In general, it will reduce bias, make sure that you make more informed decisions that are not based on stereotypes. Also, the CV screening is faster because the AI tool gives you a standardized summary, so you know exactly what to look for and how. Also, the quantitative measurement in the scorecards, you can put your gut feeling into numbers, and to have also in this case a more standardized version of every skill and the evaluation as well, so that all the hiring manager, the recruiter, and all other stakeholders involved know what they are evaluating, so everyone's on the same page as well. And in general, these tools help you help to make your hiring processes fairer and more inclusive for everyone. So this is it. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this webinar and got some new information and ideas. There are so many things we can do to take action on DEI. We can do that proactively, and you can just start from educating yourself on the biases, for example, and your team as well. And a big thank you to Annika for sharing her experience. And we have another webinar coming up as well next month. So we will be focusing on the key trends and changes in recruitment for next year. So this is something that's coming up in December, more or less mid-December 12th. So make sure to sign up for that webinar as well. And I see that is there a question that's come in? Can you do searches for applicants on Teamdash? And can you also post jobs on job sites? Yes, absolutely. This is something you can do on Teamdash, and feel free to book a demo with us to learn more. Our team member Marilyn has answered you as well there. So this is great. Anyway, thank you everyone, and see you at the next webinar. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.